Hey everyone, Sparks here again for another installment of Major Minor. So last time around, I actually hadn't realized that during the course of recording I had forgotten to actually switch the sound output from my monitor to my headphones, so hence why the music and sound effects from the game kind of were almost at the same volume as my own speaking voice. So I apologize if that actually bothered anyone. But this time around I've made sure that the settings are correct, and hopefully they'll never happen again. But anyways, during the course of the last time we did finish. Honestly, I think we actually had finished chapter 1, it just hadn't given us the chapter 2 title card yet. But with it done, we did actually get a lot of development for certain characters. Like we saw um, that Keela and Rook are getting along. Rook opened up to us actually and revealed that he actually was once somebody who worked in a maid cafe, which is interesting. I guess maid cafes are a lot more inclusive about who they hire. Which, fair enough. It's actually quite interesting that was his job, and that the loss of somebody so important to him caused him to close himself off. It's quite sad, really, but glad he opened up. Brought me close to tears, really. It's bringing me tears just thinking about it. It's wonderful. That's a sign of a good game when the writing or a good story, when it's written so well that just thinking about it can make you feel sad. So, another thing we learned is that apparently Veloquez, the actual king of the other land, is trying to bring somebody special to his world as he wants somebody to save it. Now, that's kind of important because from the sounds of things, we're going to end up being brought there because, main character of the story. Of course we're the person he's looking for. Anyways, I do find this story quite interesting and it's really starting to get involved. Especially because we're about to get to the point where I believe that actually is supposed to happen. Us going to Terra. Before we get there, we do actually have to finish our conversation with the mysterious man in the ark, who we've been asking questions. Now, in the actual normal, you'd only be able to ask him one question. I may have sort of used the save mechanic to ask him all the questions, which honestly I think is actually how that power that he's given us is supposed to work. Because he's explained a few things. The Ark is a place between worlds that allows for travel to other worlds. And within it, time stands at a standstill. Now, if I'm reading that correctly, it should mean that anyone who's in that place can pretty much go to any. It's pretty much rendered immortal, and if time's at a standstill, or is completely non-existent, they probably could actually travel to any world at any point in time, which is interesting. The second power thing we asked was about the man himself. That ability to travel to other worlds is why he was actually put in the Ark. It apparently limits his abilities, allowing him to only go to other worlds for a short period of time. And then when we asked about our own power, it basically was explained that it allows us to go to alternate versions of our own worlds. Which, yeah, does sound like the save file mechanic, because we can use it to go back to an earlier point in the story and make a different choice. Which makes a lot of sense. But I digress. We still have one question left to ask, and it is going to be the question that's going to actually be the one that the rest of the story is going to continue on from. So, let's stop talking about it and get straight back to the game. Alright, so as I said earlier, we've actually made progress. So, total saves, 8. True ending flags, 2. I think we have to get 10 to get the true ending, so 8 more to find. Rook affection, 1. Killer affection, 1. So I have to get affection with everyone else. So, what should I ask him? Well, all that's left is, what are the Midnight Depths? He had to know what the Midnight Depths were. Someone like him just had to. Made sense. He must know all manner of weird things. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh. I've only heard this term twice. Once as you brought it here, and just now. Someone on the television said it. The Clace was victim. I was hoping you'd ask me about the Ark, or at the very least about myself. I'll have to direct this question to you. So what are the Midnight Depths? I gave him a quick recap of what I was told earlier. People are dying at midnight under mysterious terms. No one knows the cause, or just what's going on. So it's definitely rather peculiar. Sounds like a serial killer to me. There's definitely a pattern present. Clace? That's a huge target, too. I wonder if that was their end game. Maybe other killings were a test. That's chilling to think about. Sorry for painting that picture. It's just a logical deduction. Yeah, that got kinda dark. Let me know about Jade's theory. How an alternate reality may be colliding with our own, and in doing so, overriding our reality. Perhaps he'd know more about that concept. Colliding realities? I doubt it. Murder would be insignificant then. Especially in the face of what could come next. Realities colliding. The reaction would be cataclysmic. Nothing would be kept in check. Pure chaos. It's a good theory, with consistency. From my vantage point, it's incorrect. Whatever the cause of these deaths are, it has nothing to do with any collisions. If anything, it will be me or you, using our powers to manipulate reality. It would be easy to leave no tracks behind. I am bound here to the Ark, and trust me, you're no murderer. This woman you mentioned, Jade, I would like to meet her one day. She seems interesting, to say the least. But that is a topic for another day. I'm afraid that's all the time I have. I hope you are satisfied with my answer. Truthfully, it was all a little much to take in, but in spite of recent events, I feel relaxed. It was nice to get the honest truth. Before now, he was vague and dodgy. Now that I've answered your question, we have to discuss the real issue here. The reason why I brought you to the Ark. It's quite simple. Another world wants to take you, by means of an ominous ritual. I've been trying to summon you for days. I think you can sense the power I gave you. I have been able to intercept them, however. That's why you've been brought to the Ark. I shift your trajectory and take you here. This is so I can try and learn their intent. We wouldn't want your power to be abused. I have even sent them random earthlings. It takes a lot of power to bring you here. I need to foil them with other methods. I didn't want them to take you. At least not until I knew why. Does this make sense to you at all? Barely. If you and the power were to be abused, you'd throw the universe into disarray. I don't want that to happen again. Last time it happened should be the last. That makes more sense. He takes a look at his surroundings. Sees a hint of regret and remorse on his face. You'd be in heaven right now with all of this stuff. But the more I interrupt their ritual, the more I realize I'll never know. I can't figure out why they want to. So this time, I'll let them succeed. I wanted to keep you on Earth. For observation purposes, of course. But now, that will be impossible. Many worlds are going to want you. Your powers can save them, or destroy them. You'll be caught up in many affairs. We must hope they seek your power for good. Many would use it for nefarious ends. Perhaps after helping this world, we can do good for other worlds as well. Wait, he's sending me to another world? Just like that. That's not right. Am I even able to survive on another planet? This explanation only puts more questions in my head. Do not worry. I'll still watch over you. If anything traumatic happens, just relax. I'll bring you back in the face of danger. Remember that you are cared for. I will not let any harm befall you. I consider you a ray of hope. My agent of fate. There on another world, he snaps his fingers loudly. I feel a rush of inertia. Title card! Right. Nothing about this is right. I finally pushed over the edge and started to panic. The place was dead. I was cursed with a power I didn't ask for. A power that could either save or destroy worlds. This was... my entire body feels pain, like the first time I was here, on a much larger scale. I try to focus on my breathing. Even that causes me more pain than I can handle. It feels like a paper cut, but every fiber of my being, being torn apart at a level less than the neck. Then shortly after, I feel nothing. I found myself in a forest, thrown against a nearby tree, like I was traveling incredibly fast. Lying on the ground, I gripped my head and pain radiates harshly with my heartbeat, which, to say the least, was incredibly fast. I lost track of time, but eventually it subsided. As I'm lucid again, I quickly examine my surroundings. It feels like everything is moving faster than normal. Swaying leaves look as if they're in a hurricane. My perception of time quickly returns to normal. That was odd. It's like when you look at a clock. Sometimes the second hand moves faster for one. Take a few steps around, can't find any balance. Quickly stumble over and beats herself on a tree. It's gone. It feels like I'm dropped. I fall to my knees, bracing the tree. As I've been eating a face full of grass. I start to wonder just where I've ended up. Only think of where I'm not. Something tells me I'm a long way from home. The anxiety of that fact completely overpowers me. Any semblance of curiosity I had was utterly destroyed. I settled in some sort of otherworldly homesickness. Here I am, stuck on the soil of a foreign planet. He said I'd be brought back in the event of trauma. Is this experience not traumatic enough? And what if something traumatic doesn't happen? Will I ever see Earth again? Will I ever experience the aftermath of a place's death? Those weren't the types of things I wanted to see. It was definitely my right to see them. I feel like this arc has robbed me blind of my future. What if I don't want this power? I guess I don't even have a say in the matter. Simply forced out against all of my wishes. What else would I be forced to do? Would I ever truly be myself again? Hello again! Hello! We'll get back to where you came from. Huh? I know what it's like to be far from home. This may be the farthest you'll ever be. But you'll get back. I know it. He kneels down beside me and wraps an arm around me. Rests a hand under my arm and lifts me up slowly. It's very easy to lose your way, especially when others want to use you. To put their own path before your own. He holds me up and I limp alongside. Who is he? Is this the guy that was conducting the ritual? If so, I don't sense any nefarious intent. He seems very wise. He's put me at ease, just like the man in the ark. I feel my desperation for all you here. Perhaps some of that despair assaulted you. If that is so, I apologize. Your burdens should be yours alone to carry. The journey to bring them to Terra, it was not an easy one to complete. It was filled with failure and compromise. Terra, is that where I am? Conrad, it worked. Is that so? Oh my goodness, it's even cuter from that angle. Mother! I want to hug him. That's so. How can you tell? It's not like we had an artist's depiction. I know this is the one. And how do you know that, Andy? I can feel it. Just trust me. Alright, I'll play along. King Velicus will be pleased. I feel like I'm finally able to stand on my own. I gently push aside this Andy in a polite manner. I explain my situation. I don't know why I'm here. I don't know who they are. Who this king is. Very well. You deserve an explanation. At least the best as I am able to provide. This is Terra. It's a peaceful world. In fact, we haven't had war for centuries. This is thanks to the immortal king. He's ensured that Terra is a utopia. But unfortunately, that attracts people. There's so many that want to come here, we're victim to our kindness and charity. Back it up a second. Immortal king? Yeah, he got lucky. Managed to find a world that suits him. It's a complicated thing, the flow of time. Immortality is something I'd want, but I guess it works for him. He's able to get lots of stuff done. Every world experiences time differently. Many worlds are in sync, or very close. You find that one special world, one where time's flow differs vastly? Well, let's put it this way. You might be lucky enough to live forever. Or you shrivel and die of old age. Our King Velicus, he found Terra, a world where time's very slowly to him. This is why he's been able to live so long. Well, I think Andy is trying to say, it's a good thing you're not dead right now. You almost live similarly to Terra. I think it's a trade-off. Some people might enjoy a shorter life, especially on Terra, where it's safe. It's true. A day of happiness could be desirable over a life of war on another world, I mean. World travel is very risky in that regard. Fortunately for you, you're safe, along with those that came instead of you. Instead of me. We tried to bring you here many times. We also failed to bring you here many times. Meaning, we brought over the wrong person. We had to continue trying, though. Philip was very eager to get you here. Made sure we did the ritual every day. But not just every day. I had to do it at the same time as well. Same time. Every day, huh? That sounds familiar. Don't worry. The others are safe. We gave them to one of the local lords. He helped them immigrate to Terra properly. Well, let's not jump to conclusions. That lord is known as Lord Blair. He has an open hatred for immigrants, so we really can't speak to their safety. We could have killed them all for all we know. Conrad, don't be so daft. Either way, Lord Blair has the others. He's running for mayor, and winning. A mayor is a step below king. So Velicus now sees him as a valid threat. This is where we come in. We are part of why Terra is so peaceful. We're a private unit funded by Velicus. We do things he can't publicly do. Well, I guess you'd call it dirty work, though no one is supposed to know that. Shouldn't speak so openly, Conrad. Seems that he's annoyed. Yeah, whatever. We're the Assassin's Guild. We have 2 members, student and teacher. I am the student, of course. Velicus wants us to ruin Blair. We're supposed to destroy his campaign. Terra isn't ready for a new ruler just yet. They'd throw the world into disarray. A player is getting close to the throne, especially among those who hate immigrants. Action needs to be taken so he doesn't win. Wait, back up a second. Elections, immigration, smear campaigns? Am I sure I'm not on Earth right now? Oh, he has a point. That is very much like Earth and the kind of thing we do. In fact, our Earth. Oh, that is depressing. And suddenly I don't think I can trust these two. At least not fully. They seem like bad guys. Either way, I've heard enough about politics for now. huge list of questions I need answered. For example, why was I brought here? Oh, you still have questions? And we still have a long way to go. Seems like these benefit one another. Follow us, we'll explain on the way. If the walking is too much, let me know. We can always stop to rest if you need it. There we go, there's chapter 2, The Long Road Ahead. Yeah, it certainly is a long road. Whew. They start to lead me down what appears to be a trail. I seem to know enough about Terra, but not why I'm here. Why did they want to teach me about politics? I believe I was brought here for that. Must be only thinking about from their angle. Makes sense. They did go through a lot to get me. But now it's my turn for answers. Just keep up the pace. Walking and talking we'll have to do. We're on a strict schedule, you know. King Veloquez wants you by nightfall. That is, on the day the ritual succeeds. You have this feeling that they don't care. I don't think they want to know the what. I think they want to know the why. Isn't that right? Yep. Not furiously. Well, King Veloquez calls you the savior. Apparently, Terra needs saving, though I couldn't tell you from what. He was secretive on the matter as well. I just know they want to, along with the fact that you're important. He foresees threats like this all the time, so I trust him completely. You're important. Veloquez says history repeats itself. One day he'll agree, another he won't. He flip-flops on a semi-daily basis, but I guess when you're as old as him, you can start to see a pattern in things. Though there's no pattern with you, he's never sought help from another world. I guess you're an unknown variant, and I guess sometimes that's what we need. Correct. You're a mystery to me too. You didn't tell us what power you pulled, nor what you would be saving us from. So if that's what you want to know, regretfully I was plain ignorant. I'm a savior. It's outrageous. I couldn't even do anything to save Clace. Hey Savior, did you catch the hint? And he wants to know what makes you tick. He wants to know why you're so special. We did dedicate our lives to you. We deserve to know the reason why. Conrad, don't be so demanding. Don't read into my words like that. I guess we're both on the same page. Both on quest and don't know the reason why. We both know I'm the savior, but nothing else. Guess I have to get answers from this king. Not sure they know about the arc, though. Is Conrad hinting that I should tell them about my power? Might not be a bad idea to gain there. I urge you not to tell us. Oh. If we need to know, we'd know. Veloquez wouldn't hide it from us. It's something we can wait to learn. You're here for a noble cause. That is something I can guarantee. And that is all I need to know. Do you have anything else to ask? If it's something I can answer, I will. I stop and ponder. What else do I need to know? It seems like they know just as much as I do. I'm glad they didn't push me for information. I'm not sure that man would want me revealing my power. I know where I am. I know who these men are. I know where we're headed. That should be enough for now. More of my questions were about Earth. For example, what happened to Clace? And the rest, I would have to personally ask the king. That's been shaking my head. I guess I just have to wait. Patience will deliver all the answers I require. Shouldn't be that much farther now. We're making good time. Oh, Indy, the form. We should probably fill it out now. Right. Form? It's just a standard immigration form. Everyone new to Terra must fill it out. It helps keep track of numbers, but it also gauges your personality. It can help to find you a suitable job. Not that you'll be needing a job. We know you won't be here permanently. But we can't give you any special treatment. To everyone else, you must be an immigrant. You've come here to start your life anew. We can't advertise who you really are. And if Lord Blair were to see you with us, I'll need to expect the papers immediately. This is starting to feel more and more like Earth. Perhaps I'm not as homesick now as I was earlier. Yeah, it is strange how much like Earth Terra is, but there again, Terra is what we called the planet for a long time. In fact, it's the Roman name for their goddess of the earth. Well, She's who preceded the Titans, so she's a primordial being. Spawned from chaos, but I digress. And he reaches into his pocket and pulls out a paper. And then, I assume it's a Terran writing utensil. After a few moments, he starts to write stuff down. Sparks, narrate. Off to a good start. You know your name. The rest, just answer honestly. Or not. I guess it's your choice. Conrad looks at me and smirks. I know it seems silly, but laws are laws. It also beats an awkward sounds, especially since we're a long way from town. Yes. Let's see. Jeez, 20 minutes just to get to this point. Oh, I do hope that this isn't too long. Well, this first one is self-explanatory. Are you a boy or are you a girl? It will change based on dialogue as well as influence your... Okay. Please just hear me. And a good-looking one at that. Thank you! Yes. A large corporation wants to hire you. Do you prefer a leading role or not? An MD or a Conrad, you could say. Honestly, it depends on the situation as to where I fall in this. But if I'm offered a leading position, I will do it best. I did take you for a leader after all. A saber shouldn't be anything but. But leadership is so restricting. You don't have true freedom as a leader. Anyway, moving on. Let's see here. Do you consider yourself skeptical? Or are you an easily trusted person? That one. Definitely a skeptic. I'm sorry, but I do not trust people easily. Wait, I was wrong? It wouldn't be the first time, Conrad. Hey, that's not nice. Thought I got a pretty good read on him. Right. You're about to go to war. Would you prefer to attack or defend? Oh, now we're digging a little deeper. Remember, there are no wrong answers. You're simply defining on paper. What position would you prefer? I prefer a defensive role, in all honesty. Well, you know what they say, something about a good defense. Not that I would pick. Not what I would pick, though. But look what I do for a living. Conrad, don't judge people's outlooks. That's only a recipe for disaster. Now, let's move on. Would you take one life to save many? That's kind of what we do every day. Do you think you'd be able to do it? Take a life for the greater good? One life over thousands. One life over 100. One life over 10. Yeah, I'm sorry for anyone who feels differently, but honestly, there's a choice between saving one and saving many. It always has to be the life of the many always outweigh it. So yeah, for the greater good, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. That's what I thought. Can't be a savior without getting dirty. Maybe we need a third assassin, Indy. I won't even humor the thought. And what do you know? He actually does use the nickname Indy. I only use it because I can't pronounce your bloody names, so... whatever. They're distant from much greater things. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Alright, we're almost done, I promise. You're running late to your destination. The paths before you are as follows. There's a short but dangerous route, and a long but much safer route. If you take the long route, you may be late. The short route may lead to your death. What route would you take? Honestly, I'd rather take my time and be safe than take shortcuts. Being kind of like we're doing right now. It's boring though. Love for something eventful to happen. And put the savior at risk? Why would that be a good decision to make? I didn't say it would be a good decision. I'm saying it would be a fun one. Alright, brings me. I shrug it off. Just one more question, I promise. Besides, we're almost at town. About time. Do you prefer the company of others? Or do you prefer to be alone? Ooh, now this is a tough one. Honestly, I do prefer to be alone. Most of my time is spent on my own. But I do like to have people around from time to time. In fact, it'd be nice if people actually wanted to hang out. I prefer being alone, though. No, I like being alone. Present company excluded, I hope. You're wounding me. Aw, don't feel sad. Honestly, you are the cutest one. Conrad. I apologize for his words. Etiquette was not in his curriculum. However, fortunately, we have concluded. A moment too soon either. Town is just a moment ahead. I know we can't make many detours, but we need to hand in these papers. Make a quick stop, that's it. We should probably check our mail too. That's true. Kayla may have written. And he looks at me and sighs loud. I guess you're in luck, Savior. You'll get to see the Wayfarer's Tavern. It's the hottest place to be on Terra. He's joking, of course. We just stay there sometimes. And we own one of their postal boxes. They serve drinks, too. Conrad likes that. But really, it's an immigration office. They just need to spice it up a bit. True, nobody likes mail and immigration. Everyone and their mom loves drinking. If you look ahead, you can see it. He points ahead, and I see he's right. A small town is coming into view. A bar that doubles as an immigration office. Sounds weird, but so does everything as of late. At least you can take care of two matters at once. Handing in my papers and checking their mail. Maybe, just maybe, I can meet their king. He would definitely have the answers I see. Back on Earth, deep into the night of Place's death. Oh, hello. Oh my goodness, you have a heart on your chest. That is adorable. Boop. Also, Boop the Snoot. Boop. I must admit, it seems rather suspicious. These midnight deaths, I never believed in them to begin with. Rather, they were supernatural. The media loves to romanticize things. I'm sure many people die at midnight daily. To affect one of my own idols? Days before the debut of their tour? No, it has to be a coincidence, I'm sure.
Hello. Hello. Boop to you too. You're cute.
I don't know, Singe. Sir. Just fine. You're closer than that, Rocker. Alright. Social media exploded King's death. Good luck playing it off as a hoax. Body bag was even on national TV. I'm not sure how we'll spin this exactly. Friday stands are starting to fill in the cracks. There's talk of it being a crazed fad. The work of a stalker, they say. Can't be. I've seen stalkers before. They're much more erratic, not calculated. This has to be the workings of a serial killer. If it was a murder at all, the stalker wants to possess, not destroy. Sounds like you're talking from experience there, Singe. Either one of your clients managed to end up on the end of a stalker fiasco, or you faced one yourself. One or the other, or both. Anyways, so their end goal was Clace's murder? Absolutely not. That's self-centered. We must presume the killer will still act. The serial killer doesn't just stop. I had hoped this was an isolated incident, but the MO matches these midnight deaths, right down to the method of murder. It seems their goals become more grandiose. If they aren't done, then who's next? That's what chills me the most. A larger target than a pop idol? What's wrong? I talked to Jade earlier about these deaths. She mentioned they were all like suicides. At least half of them looked that way. There was another half that was murder. No confusion there, gunshots and all. I was told the case died of asphyxiation. There was no sign of a struggle. Do you mean? Absolutely not. There was no evidence left behind. If he took his own life, there would be. You can't kill yourself, then clean up. I'm very certain Clace was murdered, but it's these midnight deaths I doubt. Are we facing a serial killer, or is the media just making things up? These could be completely isolated deaths. The time of death being the same isn't that odd. I guess that's true. But it's not just that. It's time of death and method of death. Suicide with no evidence isn't suicide. So there are two groups then. Mysterious suicides and the murders. I'm willing to bet they're both murders. You seem to have figured it out a lot. I thought they'd keep Clace under wraps. I had to pull a lot of strings. But I'm glad you figured it out, Rocker. There aren't two groups. There's only one. This is assuming one major thing, of course. That we're dealing with a single culprit. And these aren't isolated in nature. So a murder covered up as a suicide, huh? Not very well either, it would seem. If they wanted it to look like suicide, why would they take the weapon with them? If Clace was found with a rope around him, none of us would be doubting us at all. This is the same throughout all cases. I believe the police are jumping the gun. There's nothing that labels these suicides, especially in light of one major fact. All of the victims were mentally fit. If we're dealing with a killer here, there's no way they're trying to trick us. They want us to know these aren't suicides. It's the police that are in the wrong, but perhaps they are being manipulated. Thinking about this gives me a headache. Man, I wish I was in bed right now. I'm sorry for robbing you of sleep. I just didn't want to handle this alone. That's not a problem. Jane and Daz are outside as well. I'll stay as long as you need. Would you mind letting Jade in? We need to discuss press matters. We'll need to make a statement tomorrow. Absolutely. Daz is here, he said. Please stay with her in the limo. And tell her what I plan to do with her. Roger. Moments pass. Hello again, Singe. I feel like it's been a while. Too long, I'm afraid. And not under the circumstances I prefer. Indeed. I always felt bad for Clace. How people were blaming him for the murders. Just because the death started when we... Sorry, I shouldn't get into superstition. I just never would have guessed Clace's death would be what absolved him. People can't blame a victim, I mean. Indeed. How do you think I feel? I didn't buy into these midnight deaths. I left him vulnerable, open even. I'm used to the media making up trends, even in completely unrelated things. I should be more cautious of this. I should have assigned more guards. Perhaps this could have been avoided. I don't think guards would have helped, sir. Besides, have you worked on your alibi? Alibi? You're the last person to see him alive. And you two had a heated argument as well. You should drop that line of thought, Jade. Veiled accusations only hurt you in the end. The media will want to know. It's not me. This is what you asked me here for, right? So we can decide what to tell the press? Suppose you're right. That and the changes we'll need to make. The tour must go on as planned. The amount of refunds people will want makes you scared just thinking about it. That's a separate beast entirely. But first, about how we address the death. I think we need to be blunt. You shouldn't be anything less than honest. Tell them you don't know what happened. We're on the same page as everyone else. Let them know we're cooperating with police. It's important they feel in sync with us. We must not appear to hide facts from them. We'll make things public as the police does. You're right. There isn't much else to do. We still need to talk about the tour. Indeed. This is where we have control. I know what you plan to do with Daz. Rocker told me as we crossed paths just now. We shouldn't change topic just yet, though. Remember the two groups of deaths? The groups of murders and of suicides? I figured out something shocking tonight. The group of murders They were found a week ago, Singe. What? Here's where it gets more bizarre. They have a watertight alibi. It excuses them fully from a suicide. They were a copycat killer, and they've admitted this openly. The true culprit is still at large. You see. But the police are still in the wrong. The suicides are not suicides at all. These conflicting MOs aren't an issue. We only have to focus on the suicides now. Does this make it easier on us? Fortunately not. Just too much missing here. No suicide note, no evidence. Well, the victims being mentally fit. If it was a suicide, there would be evidence of the crime scene. Instead, we have almost nothing at all. There was someone on the news last week. They said they survived the Menendez. Fortunately, this was all a ruse. They just wanted 10 minutes of fame. So, everything we went up before is gone. We're really back at square one here. The true culprit must be an expert. They can tamper with the crime scenes. They can leave no shred of evidence behind. Just who could it be? It's likely a cop. Someone who's been trained in these things. It's possible. I have a theory, though. Something a little more bizarre than most. I don't have time for quantum mechanics. There has to be a logical reason for this. The murder started off as our tour arrived. The killer must have a police background. Jade? Yes? Bring me Clay's security guard. I'll need to speak with him immediately. You mean? Yes. At this point, it's very logical. Our own hired guard could be the killer. That is actually a very logical conclusion to make. Meanwhile, in the privacy of the limo, hello, cutie. Hey, Daz. Oh my goodness, you are magnificent. Seriously, if you existed in real life, that would be amazing. You would be a pop sensation, probably. People would probably copy your style. She's shocked back into coherence. Sorry, I was a world away there. That's fine, I mean, given what happened and all. Part of me is worried. And part of me hates that I am. I'm not worried for Clace, though. And not even for those around him. I care more about our own careers. Who will play guitar for? Who will sing it? Who will I sing and dance alongside? Forgive my foolishness. I should never have said that. There's no need to apologize. I thought the same thing. Death is absolute. Can't be changed. It happens to us, however. Well, it's malleable. Worry is normal. Perhaps it is also partly denial. One of the steps we go through in grief. Yeah, you can justify it that way. On the day, I'm scared. But I've never seen Sin show any emotion. Idols come and go in this business. He just adapts without any hesitation. I don't want to be like that. Emotion is what makes us truly alive. Now they're talking about the tour. I'll probably just address the press and then forget that Clace even existed. I want to feel sad, but can't. Is there something wrong with me? I'm becoming like Singe and Jade? They're in a fast-paced business, Daz. They need to roll with punches like this. You and I have time to adapt. But they'll be in the spotlight pronto. Also, they were talking about the tour. I know what's going to happen to us. That's why I'm not always worried anymore. Maybe if I tell you, you'll understand. And maybe you can put this worry aside too. Really? Is it just me? Okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but no undershirt, no undershirt. I'm pretty sure Singe wasn't wearing one either. Is this just a style these people have? You know? No undershirt? Just the jacket? If Clace has it too, then yes, definitely. Yeah. Singe is engaging in damage control. He needs to minimize any refund requests, so tour opening night will change. Instead, it'll be a vigil for Clace, something all of his fans would attend. He's definitely playing to their grief. but it's a good way to retain the audience. That's extremely cold. It's extremely Singe, isn't it? The show must go on, he said. Great. Now I'm going to have that Queen song stuck in my head. Thank you, rocker. I suppose. So, Vigil then. What's going to happen there? Have you heard the story of Japan's birth? Excuse me? Is that even relevant right now? If you'll listen, I'd like to think so. Very well. Before the universe, there was nothing. A huddled mass of chaos and total stillness. It lay there forever, not moving an inch. One day, it flinched. It started to move, like a cloud. Soon after that, like a hurricane. It moved and moved. Some chaos rose to the top, the light. They created heaven, or Taka Mahagahara. Ugh, I have messed up the pronunciation of that terribly. But some of the chaos was dark in nature. It wasn't worthy of ascending to heaven. It stayed at the bottom, becoming earth. And Kami was born between the light and dark, the god known as Amino Minakanushi, or All-Father of the originating hub. I'm sorry, I have to stop you there. I don't buy into this religious stuff. Who says anything about religion? I'm merely spouting myth. Are those not one and the same? She has a point. Please allow me to continue. A large rainbow connected heaven to earth. It acted as a bridge between worlds. Amino Hashi, it was called, or floating bridge of heaven. Two more gods came into being at this point. Their names were Izanagi and Izanami. Earth was still a puddled mass of nothing. Izanagi and Izanami stood on the bridge. They looked down at this nothing in awe. Izanagi was gifted a spear from Minakanoshi. He thrusted the spear into the dark puddle. Upon pulling it out, it started dripping. These drops stayed on the surface. They formed the islands of Japan. The first landmass on Earth was born. They were tasked with descending the bridge. They went down and finished creating Earth. Izanagi engaged in a purification ritual. He washed away all of his impure aspects, used them to aid in creation. Our sun and moon, created by the impurities in his eye. The storms were born from those in his nose. Really? Really? Storms are basically boogers? God, this were used. After that, we were born. With a world to call our own. That's awfully convenient. We're created from impure aspects of God. Sounds like a tragedy if you ask me. How does this relate to the Torah, or us? I'm about to get to that. Singe is altering the entire Torah. There will be a retelling of this story. Settlers will symbolize his creation, and souls will be offered to heaven. Through that rainbow bridge, of course. Not just places, but all the victims. Elaborate. Didn't think Singe would do that much. Now I feel bad for assuming what I did. It's okay. You didn't know. So, will you perform covers then? Of Place's hits and other relevant songs? You got it. But then you come in. The tour will end with a special surprise. A special surprise? Yes, an announcement from you. You'll be taking over the world tour. You'll be headlining, Daz. You'll perform to a sold-out crowd. It'll be your turn for the spotlight. It'll finally become something more. Something more, huh? Yes. We'll be saying goodbye to Clace, welcoming a new idol to the world. I suppose I should be honored. I will serve as your guitarist. You have my complete loyalty, Daz. Thanks. But I'm not sure about Shock. Him and Clace are childhood friends. He may take us harder than he does. Right, well, if you'll excuse me. This is overwhelming. I need fresh air. Of course. Guess I should join her. It's getting stuffy in here. A shuffling sound is from the front seat. Rose dead? Oh! Oh my god, that face! Oh, the poor thing. And oh dear god. Wow. 20 minutes just to get through that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to call it there, because that is a lot for, you know, an episode. So, we made a lot of progress. I mean, you know, hopefully that's actually completely, fully the end of chapter 2. But if not, we'll finish the rest of it next time. So, until then, guys, see ya.